What's up, guys? When it comes to creating consistent content while still maintaining that quality, you need to have a very streamlined system for creating that, for coming up with ideas, and then for batching that content so that it doesn't take 10 hours to film. So my current process is I'll spend maybe 1 to 2 days doing research, and this is something I learned from my coaches, spending 1 to 2 days doing research, spending 1 to 2 days basically writing out a script, and then spending 1 or 2 days actually filming that content. Because if you try to do all of these kind of things, if you try to do everything mixed in and just mixing everything up, it's like you don't have that creative energy to do filming and also coming up with ideas. And then you may also not have that energy to create these scripts, but then go and film, a ton of content. So what I like to do is I like to batch it into sections throughout my week. And what I want to do during that research phase is start filling my head with knowledge. So instead of listening to a ton of music, maybe I'll replace that with audiobooks, podcast interviews, YouTube videos, stuff that's going to pertain to my niche and something that might spark an idea. And if I spark an idea, what I'll do is I'll take out my phone and just write in my notes section a headline or like a topic, and then I'll write almost like a hook, because you want to make sure that your videos, especially with Instagram, has a hook, a middle, and then a conclusion or an end that basically rewards at the end. So what I want you guys to do is, instead of listening to a ton of music and not really filling your head with knowledge, spend 1 or 2 days deliberately doing research on a topic in your niche, because that's going to make it way easier to come up with ideas to film that content. Now, once I have these ideas for my content, what I'll do on days 2 and 3 is I'll write out scripts. So I'll write out a rough draft on what I'm going to say on camera. It doesn't have to be word for word, and that's actually one issue I see with you guys is you like to script it to the point where you need to read it word for word. So then anytime you mess up, you basically repeat it or you have to restart it, and then it ends up taking 3 hours to film 2 videos. So you want to use this as a roadmap, not necessarily as a word for word thing that you're going to read off of. So what I'll do is I'll write out my script, I'll write out my hook, and then I'll read it 1 or 2 times, and then I'll film without looking at anything besides the camera. And I'd say about 60 to 70% of what I say is going to be that script, just so I have some kind of roadmap I'm going down. But then 20 or 30% is going to be just off the cuff, me being genuine, me being authentic, because you want to make sure you mix it in. You don't want to do just, again, word for word scripted content, because people can usually tell. But again, you do want to have some kind of roadmap. So that's pretty much my entire process for creating content. Is days 1 and 2, I'll just fill my head with knowledge, do deliberate research on my niche. Days 2 and 3, I'll actually write out the scripts, write out what I want to say. And then days 4, 5, 6, whatever it happens to be, I'll sit down and I'll film. When I film, I want to block out a chunk of my day. Let's say it's 2 or 3 hours or even less, these days, because I can film, 5 reels, 10 reels in less than an hour, whereas before it took a lot longer. So if you guys are beginning, it makes sense. You might want to repeat yourself a little bit, but you want to get to the point where you can film 5 to 10 reels within an hour and then be done with it. So I'll chunk out 2 or 3 hours during those filming days, and I'll just shoot my content and get it all done in that time frame. And then another little tip you guys can use is, when I'm filming, you don't necessarily have to just go through the entire script without messing up, because that's what I used to do. What I do now is I'll actually record little chunks, and you'll notice in my content, some of my content or my reels have different locations. So one hack you guys can do is script out your content so that there's 3 or 4 different chunks that you can record and then pause, and then record it again in a different location, pause, and then record again. You get the point. But this is going to make it a lot easier, because you only have to remember a super small chunk, and then you can go to the next piece once you've finished the previous section, versus just going through the entire thing. I can see how that would be frustrating, because it's like you could get to minute 1 or 2 out of a 3-minute video, mess up, and you feel like you have to start over. So also remember that you can chunk out your content, and if you need specific help or you want more in-depth information on this, feel free to book a call with me below. We can talk one-on-one, about content processes and stuff like that. So click the link below, we'll book it, and we'll, chat one-on-one. But hopefully this helps you guys create a systematic process to creating your content.